Love that. Love it. It's Thursday night. We got smiles because I was cracking jokes before I came on. It's 8 o'clock, right on time, and Living in Jacksonville channel, the Living in Jacksonville channel. And we're rocking it like every Thursday night, me and Miss Rachel. And we're talking about what's going on in Jacksonville, the suburbs down to St. Augustine. And I'm excited about tonight's show because we're talking about things that I don't know if people realize sometimes, with all the politics going on in New York right now, everybody's like, oh, your phone must be blowing up from New York. And I'm like, my phone has been blowing up from New York since COVID, folks. There's nothing different today than yesterday. But the reality is that Florida's economy in general is booming. There's still a lot more to come. Jacksonville's economy is booming. And with all that comes growth, economic growth in all different sectors and factors. In fact, it inspired me to do another video next week because I just saw what my property taxes are. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is my homestead. Should it increase as quickly as it is? And there's a big difference when you're building schools like that. It affects your homestead. And I'm going to do that in another video. So if you're new to the channel or you haven't watched the channel, you're watching this live or on a recording, first of all, welcome. Let us know where you're watching from. We always want to know who's watching and where you're watching from. Even on recording, put it in the comments. And then, of course, the reality is that I'm going to be doing a video talking about how, specifically in St. Johns County, how expensive it has become. And I think it's a good tribute to a show of why people are leaving the area, why some people are leaving Florida in general. But our economy is booming in Jacksonville. Florida's economy is booming. Jacksonville is booming. And whether the politics in New York will affect it even more so, I don't know, potentially, because where money is taxed, where the wealthy are taxed, businesses are taxed, they may relocate somewhere that is not as taxed as heavily. People like to protect their money and funding. And so we already had a massive boom here in Jacksonville. And I think we're going to see more, not just in South Florida, but all the way up here in Jacksonville. So, Miss Rachel, show us what you got, because I know you got some really good stuff tonight, not just talking about it, but actually the articles that kind of back up what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've got some great stuff today. This article came out last week. The Florida Chamber Foundation, which is a part of the Florida Chamber of Commerce, announces Florida now ranks as the world's 15th largest economy. So,
wow.
So if it were a nation, it would now rank the 15th largest economy in the world, with gross domestic product exceeding 1.7 trillion. And they've set a long-term goal of making Florida a top 10 global economy by 2030. And Florida has surpassed Spain and stands just behind Australia. It says 25.5 billion behind Australia. So, I mean, but when you're talking trillions, 25.5 billion behind Australia is not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. Loving to be in business here in Florida as well. That is incredible. Incredible. I would have never thought that, honestly.
Right. So, this is just really interesting information. I just was really pretty floored by this, this entire article.
Yeah. And when you start thinking about Florida economies, you immediately start thinking Miami, you start thinking Tampa, Orlando's having massive growth right now. People aren't immediately going, oh, Jacksonville. But those people have no idea of what's coming, because a lot of the opportunity in those areas already happened. We're about to blow up here for sure in the next 5-10 years.
Right. And this article really just backs up what you just said. Jacksonville ranks 3rd in the nation for economic growth. This is pulled from a study by Co-working Cafe. So I'll pull that up in a minute. But the study highlighted how Jacksonville's population was pretty much the big driver. It had a huge increase, a 9% increase in population from 2022 to 2023. That's about 14,000 new residents. And also contributing to that growth was, 43% growth in gross domestic product, 25% export gains, and 10% housing development. The study also does talk about infrastructure, transportation infrastructure. It is consistently investing in that. The city is consistently investing in transportation infrastructure to meet the needs of the growing population. And they also mentioned Jax Port and the upgrades there. So all of those factors,
Yeah, I mean, this is Jacksonville, folks. We're talking Duval. We're not even talking about suburbia, I don't think. We're not talking about massive growth in St. Johns County, Clay County, Nassau County. We're not talking about St. Augustine. We're just talking about Jacksonville in general, which has a million plus population. So it is super exciting because there's so much industry here. We have one of the larger ports in the East Coast. We have massive distribution here, import, export, warehousing. We're right there in the gateway of Florida, I-10, I-95. It's all right here. And it is super exciting to see this area because nobody ever suspected it. Just like when we moved here 7-8 years ago, and I told my wife, what about Jacksonville? And I was like, Jacksonville? And I looked at her and I go, have you ever been? No.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, and I do love this sentence here. It says Northeast Florida has more than 100 new residents moving to the region every day, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. And it's not done. It says from 2023 to 2028, Jacksonville is expected to grow by 11%, which is faster than any other major Florida metro.
Everything I've been saying all along, and I mean, I'm probably underestimating it too, because I've watched these message boards, and even there's certain areas of Jacksonville. I'm not talking about where we live in the suburbs. It's gotten really expensive in our areas, but I mean, there's other parts of Jacksonville that's so underdeveloped, or people don't know about, or they're concerned about crime rates or whatever. They're super affordable. Yeah, they're older homes, but they're beautiful areas that you can still buy a home very much so affordable. I mean, honestly, compared to the rest of Florida, to be in a major metro like Jacksonville near St. Augustine, have both flavors, or the countryside out west, it's an incredible opportunity people just don't know about.
Right. I mean, and if you read this article, this is from jaxusa.org. It just keeps going on and on. Jacksonville's named one of the top 10 most popular moving destinations, as well as one of the best big cities to live and a top choice for relocating home buyers. It's saying that it's the second hottest job market in the nation and number one on the East Coast. Young professionals are seeing the benefits of growing their career in the region, which is why Jacksonville is one of the top 5 cities attracting college graduates. So, I mean, this article just goes on and on. It talks about the infrastructure, booming population, unmatched quality of life. It just, I'm not surprised. I live here, so I feel like everybody's just finding out about like the world's greatest secret, and I'm only sharing because I already live here. So
yeah. And I want to add to that. I mean, sorry, I'm just so blatantly opinionated, and forgive me for it, but I tell it how it is. I just like, if you're not seeing opportunity here, I'm not saying you have to thrive, but if you're not seeing opportunity here, then you're not looking hard enough, because there's a lot of unemployment, a lot of businesses setting up shop here, and it's here. It is here.
Right. And I really liked, this is the article, the study, where all this came from. And this is the cities making America's economic future. And I was just curious because Jacksonville's number 3. Okay, so what's number 1 and what's number 2? Austin, Texas is number 1, and Sacramento, California is number 2. So, and then Jacksonville, number 3.
Interesting. What's number 4?
Mesa, Arizona.
Okay, very good. Well, I'll tell you what, that's good for those places, because let's face it, Austin, Texas definitely cooled off in real estate in the last few years since COVID. They had such a massive growth. Same with Arizona, certain parts of Arizona. So that's good for them. I mean, these are we become major cities on the map.
Right. So, but I do love, Jacksonville's got a coast. So
we do have coast. We do. Yeah. Love it.
So, but another piece of the puzzle, we're going to start talking about the airport. Jacksonville's airport has a $220 million Concourse B project, it reached another major milestone. They have this ceremony called the topping out ceremony, and this is basically signifying all of the pylons, I guess, are the last beam is in place. So the structural phase is wrapping up, and now they're, I guess, going to start working on actually, all the walls and things like that. So
600 pylons.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
Right, I know. And 2,500 cubic yards of concrete, 500 pieces of steel. I mean, this is a pretty big project. It's going to
$220 million.
Right. Is going to add 6 gates, and it's going to focus on international service. So, and I
know what everybody's saying right now. You know what they're saying, right?
No.
What do you think everybody's responding to this?
I have no idea.
It's about time. I'm sick of driving to Orlando to get on an international flight. We need more flights, blah, blah, blah. You know what I compare this to? Jacksonville Airport, to me, if I lived in South Florida, Miami's airport, forget it. If I could avoid that like a plague, I will. Now, Fort Lauderdale, forget it. If I can avoid that like a plague. So I used to like to fly out of Palm Beach. I don't know if it's still the same way. And I'm not saying that because I'm being snooty. I'd rather drive to Palm Beach and fly out because it was so peaceful, smaller, much easier. I find Jacksonville Airport was like that. And that's one thing when this city grows and we keep expanding the airport and we start bringing international flights, I'm going to miss the easiness of being able to fly in and out of Jacksonville.
Yeah, it is very, very easy right now. I do think adding 6 gates will, I think it'll keep it easy. It'll just be more, I'm hoping, more options.
Yeah.
And the CEO of the Jacksonville Aviation Authority says that American Airlines plans to use all of those new gates. So I think it's going to be American Airlines.
No, just kidding.
So yeah, when I was flying a bunch, it was usually Southwest. So, I don't have a whole lot of experience with American Airlines. So I don't really.
It's funny you should say that because I was flying into Dallas for a real estate conference recently. I was talking to people that fly Dallas to Jacksonville a lot. And American Airlines is based out of Dallas, and they do fly direct to Jacksonville. But so does Southwest. And the folks that are from Dallas, I said, "Oh, you must fly American all the time." I'm like, no, we always fly Southwest.
Yeah, it was just an easier flight when we were living in the Chicago area and we were coming here. For us,
Chicago Midland, or which airport?
Midway, yeah. We didn't
Midway.
do it. I could avoid it.
Yeah, because it was O'Hare is the other one.
Yeah, O'Hare.
Yeah.
That one wasn't my favorite. So if I could, I would pick Midway, but
Yeah. Direct Midway to Jacksonville International Airport. Cool.
Yeah. So okay. Also, just because I like comparing things. Like when I read articles about, airport expansion, and I kind of like to see like how things rank now, or where we stand now. So where Jacksonville International Airport ranks for the longest tarmac taxi times, and I love this article because it kind of goes into comparing taxi times with Orlando and Tampa. So average taxi times for departure is 13.96 minutes. It's a little more than it used to be in 2019. It was 13.81 minutes for taxi time for departure, and taxi time for arrival at Jacksonville International Airport is 6.4 minutes, which is a little more than it used to be, 5.73 minutes in 2019. But compared to the counterparts in Orlando and Tampa, Orlando's average taxi departure time is about 18 minutes. Like I said, ours is about 14 minutes. So it's about 4 minutes longer to depart in Orlando. And then when you arrive in Orlando, it takes almost 11 minutes, whereas our taxi arrival time is about 6.5 minutes. So looking better there. You're not sitting on that airplane all that time, smelling the jet fuel.
Can I just tell you for a minute? This is what I love about you. People, if you think Miss Rachel's a nerd right now, put it in the comments, put nerd. Because I would have never, ever thought about comparing taxiing times on the runway between cities, but that's brilliant. Love it.
I mean, I'm not
love
the
it.
only one. Jacksonville Business Journal, clearly me and Mauricio Laplante and Andy Medici, we are on the same page.
You're all part of the same club.
We are thinking the same thing.
Time is of the essence, no doubt.
That part of the airplane flight, like when you're just sitting there just waiting to take off, I just think
want to get going. I know, I get it.
Or when you're sitting there and you just want to get off the plane.
Yes,
So,
yes,
yeah.
I agree.
And then
Especially
Tampa.
if you're sitting next to that person.
I mean,
no, I'm just kidding.
I just, put my head down.
Well, look. You may save $100 driving an extra 2.5, 3 hours to Orlando if you're lucky not to get stuck on I-4 traffic, but then you're going to be stuck on the tarmac another 10 minutes, people. So just keep that in mind.
Just a little extra time on the tarmac. Yeah, Tampa, same kind of thing. Departure, you're going to be on the plane 2 extra minutes ish,
okay.
Just about, and then arrival. Actually, their arrival time's a little better. So their arrival is 5.92, where our taxi time is 6.4. So
okay, all right, I'll give it to Tampa. I'm not going to be biased here. I'll tell you what, Tampa's traffic stunk. I was there for a soccer tournament 2 weeks ago, and I was wanting to rip my hair out in certain areas. So I know our traffic's bad, but their traffic was real bad over there. But I'll tell you what, I have heard customers or clients say, I like flying into Tampa better. They have more flights, but I've heard good things about Tampa's airport. I haven't flown in and out of there personally, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, I haven't flown out of there. Probably. Yeah, I don't think I've ever flown out of there. If I have, it was when I was a child, and I don't remember. But
yeah, I'm sure it's a lot better as long as it's not during a hurricane. Just kidding.
But no, Jacksonville Airport, it's great. I will say, I mean, part of some of the headlines today. So there are 40 airports facing flight reductions, and so the list came out. Jacksonville's not on the list for that. So
we don't have any flights to reduce,
I guess, but I mean, it's still going to impact just, how it goes. The ripple effect will probably impact flights out of Jacksonville, but they are reducing flights out of Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood International, Tampa, Orlando, and Miami. So those did make the list. So,
okay.
4 Florida airports,
we'll have a reduction of flights. Okay.
Because of the government shutdown. So there is that. And also, here are the busiest airports in Florida by commercial passengers. I like rankings. We already discussed.
Yes.
So, Orlando International Airport, total passengers in 2024, 57 million.
Woo!
Yep.
More than Miami.
More than Miami. So Miami's number 2, 52 million. Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood International, 35 million. Tampa, 23.95, so almost 24 million. Southwest Florida International Airport, 10 million. And I just know from other research that Jacksonville in 2024 had 7.6 million. So if you
see, that's why I like flying out of Jacksonville Airport. 7 million as opposed to 10, 15, 30, 40 million. I mean, can you imagine?
Right. So it's clear that we definitely don't have quite the same currently. I mean, they are building that new concourse, so that these numbers will change. So right now, they do have 7.6 million passengers going through in 2024. And I know this past July was a record July for the Jacksonville International Airport as well. So, big numbers. And with the new concourse, there'll be even more. But we have a long way to go if we're wanting to do numbers like Orlando.
Well, I don't want to do numbers like Orlando. We did one time where we decided to fly out of Orlando, and we will never do that again. Sorry. Traffic, no. Lines in the airport, no. Not doing that again. Now, I'm not going to lie. It was during a holiday. We're like, oh, maybe it'll be a little better flying out direct from Orlando. No, thanks. I'd rather transfer through Atlanta or Charlotte. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry, Orlando. You've got
Right.
too big for your britches. I mean, you're overpassing Miami now. That's incredible.
Right, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And let's see. I have this other article that does talk about satisfaction rankings for Florida airports. So these Florida airports ranked amongst America's best. And, I think some people do like the Orlando airport. So the Orlando airport moved up one place to 7th for mega airports. Miami International Airport moving into 8th. Tampa International held on to 2nd for large airports. And airports in Jacksonville, West Palm Beach, and Fort Myers were all near the top for medium airports.
Yep.
So,
let's keep it that way.
Yeah, so they rank really well. It's just different sizes and, different size airports. So I know one thing we were going to talk about too is I think sometimes people come here and they ask about the St. Augustine Airport.
Yeah.
The St. Augustine Airport, it doesn't have commercial flights at this point. It was something that has been, it's been talked about. It's been something that they've kind of pushed for over the years. Right now, it's got charter flights, flight schools, and it's home to industrial operations, including Northrop Grumman. But it is running into some problems lately. So here's my controversy flag.
Let me guess. The pilots drank too much down in downtown St. Augustine?
Well,
I'm just kidding. It's a touristy place.
So, no, it just seems that they have some leadership issues. And right now, one of the big news stories is a $30,000 a month job at the St. Augustine Airport. No contract to prove it. So the guy at the top has been getting public funds without an official contract. That's not so good.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
So,
you're bringing controversy tonight, aren't you?
Controversy tonight. So, St. Augustine Airport, it's got some issues, and this is not the only thing. There are actually over the summer were some criminal charges involved with the St. Augustine Airport. So, state investigators talked to the staff at the St. Johns County Airport Authority, and they ended up pressing charges against some of the board members and they're accused of violating Florida's Sunshine Law, which basically you can't have meetings behind closed doors is what they're saying. So
yeah,
so they're
open and transparent.
Right. We got to be open and transparent. So I kind of looked into what does the Sunshine Law mean? And basically it's a statute that established a basic right of access to most meetings of boards, commissions, and other governing bodies of state and local government agencies or authorities. So basically,
do you know how I learned about the Sunshine Law?
How?
The CDDs that are formulated in our communities are privy to Sunshine Law. They must remain open to the public.
Right. So there's all kinds of things that need to be open to the public. So the St. Augustine Airport is currently having a tough time, but I have confidence that at some point it'll bounce back.
Well, honestly, it's a great location. It would be a lot closer for us if they had at least some domestic flights. I thought they had a domestic flight to New Jersey or New York at one point, but maybe I was mistaken.
I know at one point there was talk about having Frontier Airlines out there.
Yeah, that's right.
And I wasn't living here at that time, so I don't know if that actually materialized.
Yeah, it said it used to have commercial flights in the past, Frontier, Via Air, Elite Airways, but they're gone as of mid-2025. So that didn't work out, obviously. I don't think there was enough demand, probably, or maybe people were like, I don't know if I want to get on Frontier.
Right.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I've never been on Frontier. Sorry, Frontier.
I think it's I know it's one of those cheaper airlines.
Yeah.
But it was. I don't know a whole lot about Frontier.
It's a la carte, probably one of those reduced price a la carte that when you add it all up, it's not ending up being a discount after all.
Right. You end up having to pay all these in back.
It takes like 3 days to get to I don't know, New York or somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. So, but yeah, so St. Augustine Airport currently having issues, but we've got a lot of great options with the Jacksonville Airport. I know there is the Daytona Airport if you want to try that. They do have way fewer flights. They have in 2024 they had 665,000 passengers. So
okay,
way smaller airport. But
yeah, I assume everybody from those areas, they probably fly out of Orlando, I imagine. So
yeah.
Either
And the
Jacksonville or
that's
Orlando.
out of Orlando is just, there are so many happy people going to Disney and wherever else. So
yeah, make a little trip out of it, stop at Disney. I get it.
It's got a vibe.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, everything today, all kinds of cool stuff. We had Florida ranked 15th largest economy, and
I don't think people realize that. I really don't. I'm kind of blown away by that myself. I mean, I consider myself super blessed because it's supposedly a really hard real estate market in certain parts of the country, but we've been super blessed here. So I think this is contributing to the fact that we're a massive economy here in Florida. So that is great news. Awesome.
Yeah, and that comes straight from the Florida Chamber of Commerce. So if you're looking for that and you want to read into it more, let's take a look.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, is that it for tonight? We knocked it out in 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
Awesome.
Lots of talk about economy and airport.
Okay, nothing else on the ports?
I don't have anything on the ports.
Okay.
Not anything.
Not putting you on the spot, just asking. Oh. I know we're having some port expansions, definitely. I know that our port and our waterways, they're trying to deepen so that we can have larger cargo ships coming through, I believe, yes. If I'm not mistaken. So that is something that also contributes heavily, especially logistically in imports, because our warehousing is fantastic here. Even when I used to work in the warehousing, wholesaling business in the South Florida region, we used to actually warehouse and ship out of Jacksonville because it was more affordable. There was more options, at least back then. And that was a long time ago. We're talking 15, 20 years ago. So we can talk about that another time, but all right. Well, good stuff. I love it. Florida is killing it. Jacksonville has got massive growth in the pipeline, and we're expanding the Jax Airport. I know we have a few people on. Is anybody going to share tonight where they're watching from? Just one person. Is there anybody watching from the area, and is there anybody watching from out of town? We want to know. You have 30 seconds. Otherwise, that is it. Because
I do want to talk about one thing out of the Jax Port. We do also have that Norwegian cruise line that has just started.
Yeah, we've been expanding our cruise lines. So yeah, again, air travel, and you know what? It goes hand in hand. I mean, people that are going to come into town to go on cruise ships, they need to be able to fly in easily as well, right? So for sure. All right, no takers, nobody's sharing, everybody's bashful. Very good. It's another Thursday night down. We're trying out different things, folks. We're trying out. And if you're watching this and recording, we're trying shorter shows. We're trying longer shows. And we're trying all different kind of topics just to kind of keep you abreast. So if there's anything else that you would like to hear about, first off, make sure you subscribe. And second of all, go ahead and put in the comments. We love any feedback on anything that you would like us to talk about. This is interactive. And so anything on the top of your mind in any specific area or suburbs of St. Augustine, Jacksonville, we're here for you. And of course, if you're thinking about moving the area or you're thinking about selling, you can text, call, or email. It's never too early to have that conversation, to have a straightforward, transparent convo about what you're trying to achieve with a lot of questions behind it so that I can truly understand your needs and fulfill those. Even though we like to give lots of information about lifestyle here, we're not just a YouTube channel. We are a real estate business. So we'd love to be your resource of choice. And if you haven't already, subscribe Tuesday nights and Thursday nights every week. And we'll see you next week.